Okay, for the documentary. Key point is I've already been doing this for off and on a couple hours this evening, so this is already, a lot of it has been, vaporized already. So it was much more prodigious earlier, but there's still more, because there's always more. This is the hydrogen torch. Hydrogen is an interesting flame because it doesn't really like to, you could burn yourself with it, of course. It's 3,500 degrees max. But it has a strange qualities about it, like the flame itself is like very thin, and you can feel it way far away. But it's very precise, like a pinpoint. And it doesn't burn skin very easily compared to other things like metals or things that are dry and fibrous. It will take right to them. But if there's moisture in it, it doesn't quite hit it so hard. It's like the heat just doesn't go to it or something. I think the moisture, because this is condensing the hydrogen and oxygen that was just electrolyzed, pressurized, and burning right now, is turning back into water vapor as it burns. Strange as that sounds. I still can't wrap my head around it fully, but that's what they say, and that seems to be the case. Anyway, I could do this with propane or butane as well, but this seems to be the better of them all because it seems to seek out the areas that have the toxic buildup of the metals. And I'm saying that because my theory is that the immune system, part of our immune system, is functioning through our hair. Obviously our pores, we sweat, and that's part of the immune system, is sweating things out. That's why I think the mud tub too helps a lot, because it definitely makes you sweat. But if it's something toxic that can't be, dissolved into one of the liquids that our body sheds, tears or sweat or, all the other liquids, if we can't get rid of it through urine or fecal matter because it's just too sticky of a substance, such as the metals that bond to our cells because of their electrical charge. These toxic metals are pretty much all have basically an overall positive electrical charge. And we're a ground source to their electrical charge. I believe that's why they're toxic, because they stick in that manner. It's not that they're gooey and they stick to us electrically or electromagnetically. Basically electrically. And our body can't process them. They won't dissolve into the urine. So it tries to keep them away from the core. Now that doesn't mean they don't get in your glands and in your organs and stuff, because they certainly do, because we're inundated with it, like all the time, all day, every day, unless it's raining, and then it's nice. It's been raining for a couple of days, and I like it, because the air is clean, and they don't bother spraying when it's raining like cats and dogs. There's no point in it. It washes it out of the air. So if it was for any other purpose than us to breathe, they might spray it anyway, but they pretty much don't. Which kind of shows you that it is for us to breathe. It's not all for geoengineering, although that can be done with it. It's not all for mind control, but that can be done with it. It's for seeding the population, I think. Kind of like silicon. It's turning us. Where am I at here? I just lost my point. It's like transistors. When they make transistors, they take the silica, whatever, and they make the paste that they make the transistors out of, and then they dope it, meaning they create pathways that are more positive, so that the negative charge will be more attracted to go down it, or more negative, so the positive charge will go down it. and they can separate the charge that way. It's kind of what transistors do. They're like, you know, diode gates, really. So they call it doping. They dope the material so that it's more inclined to allow a positive than a negative charge to travel down it, and that will be, you know, one side, one leg of a diode. It generally has three, and the other one will be the negative, or whatever, you know what I mean. Anyway, so they call it doping. Now that makes a semiconductor. It's a semiconductive material, and they dope the semiconductive material so that it's electrically a circuit at that point. Okay, people are not generally that conductive, but once they become inundated with metal particles from, I don't know, breathing them, bypassing, you know, all the parts of the body that would try and filter it out, and they collect inside your body, and, you know, because they're toxic, and to the point that you're just overloaded with them, and you're starting to have health issues that are noticeable and frequent and continuous, as well as you know, mental disorders. Metals cause mental disorders as well as physical disorders. It's not just one or the other. It's both of them. So while you're being poisoned by the metals, you're losing your ability to deal with being poisoned or anything else mentally, because they're causing mental problems as well as physical problems. That gets glossed over a lot. But back to my point, I believe that the immune system is utilizing the hair and the hair follicles. There's a white hair epidemic that started around 2012, 2013. Was the chemtrails were getting into full swing. And all of a sudden, there's just a lot more people with white hair and a lot younger people with white hair. And suddenly, it was a big thing. It was a fashion thing to have white hair, and then bikers with these big white beards and all this shit, right? And I think the white hair epidemic is part and parcel with the metals that we're breathing that just happen to be white and happen to be toxic and happen to be nano, small, so, you know, millions of them conceivably could fit on a single tiny hair, which would turn it white, right? So your body's trying to push it out of you, but we're getting filled with it constantly. And until the point that your hair's turning white, your skin's turning white, you get ashy skin, white hair, silver hair. People who get white, silver, blue hair in the past were people that were on prescriptions, because they've been putting these things in the prescriptions for a long time. So if you're on any type of prescription medication, and probably the over-counter stuff too, you're getting extra doses of these toxic metals, you know, to make sure that you're properly, you know, ill at the right time and part of the economy, you know. Doctors and interns are counting on you. Hospice care workers really are depending on your illness for their bread and butter. Don't let them down. So our body pushes it out to the extremities, which would be our skin. It's trying to keep it away from the core, because that's the immune system is trying to, you know, keep it out of your brain and keep it out of your organs. And so all of our lymphs become loaded with it. There's a whole lot of lymph disorders going around right now. You have noticed thyroid and thymus and all kinds of gland problems off the charts because of what? Buildup of toxic metals. But that's never said. That's just my conjecture. It's always something else. No matter what it is that you have wrong with you, Dr. So-and-so will have an answer for something. But it won't be the truth. It won't be that you're breathing poisonous air all day and night, every day and night, and that's why you're sick. No, it's something else. You know, you have a tendency towards blah, blah, blah. My COPD is because of blah, blah, blah. It runs in my family. Everybody's got it. Yeah, I bet they do. I bet they do. COPD is perfectly normal. Everybody's born with it. And how we know it's part of a virus, that's what's going on, right? Come on. People believe that shit. No, the evidence for viruses is like the evidence for nukes. Nuclear bombs. Non-existent. There isn't any. There's just talk and fakery. And the same people who gave us outer space, spinning balls, a vacuum, Michio Kaku and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and Brian Greene and what the bleep do we know anyway and all that shit. The same colleges and universities that give us that science are the same ones that give us our medical science. And so what you believe everything they say about medicine, but we know they're lying about space and the moon landing, and we know they're lying about history. We know they're lying about the Tartaria and the past having much higher tech than we have now and was harmonious with nature, probably free energy and all that. We know these things, but because the proof is out there for them, and it really is. But we believe him totally about the medical stuff, though, because obviously the pills work. They make high-powered pills, so that means that they're telling the truth about health and medicine. No, they are very good if you break your leg. You get shot or hit by a truck or have a heart attack even from, the crappy shit that they put in the food. Or possibly even from the electronic means now. Because we ping on a grid. We're now conductive. We're filled with metals. The metals are so extreme they're coming out of our pores. They're turning our hair white. And they continue to come out the pores. They're clogging up all of the lymph. They're clogging up the thoracic ducts and all of that, right? Sounds like a cartoon character, thoracic duct. Anyway, it's toxins, and it's your immune system's pushing them to the outside, pushing them to the surface, and it's messing with the skin, and that's kind of what the Morgellons is, I think. It's a combination of, I think there's parasites involved too, and I think it's the toxins and the parasites in conjunction. Like the parasites eat the toxins. Maybe it's because the parasites shit gold after they eat toxins and they're trying to fill us with parasites. That's one that I heard more recently. I didn't come up with that one, but it can fit into my greater theory without a whole lot of trouble, unfortunately. So if it's fucked up and evil and you can think of it, it's probably happening, and it's been going on for at least a decade. I don't know about parasites that eat toxins and shit gold living inside of people, but where'd the point go? But I do know a little about how toxins accumulate in the body and what the immune system tries to do with them. And a lot of that is by feel. I know I'm being toxically loaded. I can feel what's happening to myself, and I'm pretty self-aware. So that's why I'm making this video, to tell people I'm not insane. And I gotta do this. If I didn't do this, I'd be bleeding out off my ears and my, eyebrows like it was 7 or 8 years ago, before I started taking mud baths using this to rinse off with regularly. I mean, I do regularly. Not while there's fire around, because it's highly flammable, but rinse with that, and it washes some of the toxic load off of my skin, because it's in the sweat. It's trying to force itself out. One of the things I noticed right as the Morgellons had first, began to be issues, bugs, feelings, and ringing ears, and constant headache, and all that kind of shit. One of the first things I noticed was looking at I started my face, where my facial hair grows. There was patches that weren't growing correctly. Big white coarse hairs, areas that just didn't grow hair like they were supposed to anymore. And then I noticed less hair in general, body hair and all that. And the first place I noticed was on my legs. My hair would grow on my legs down to, around my ankle. And then there was where it didn't really grow a lot, right below my ankle. And there was a little bit on my foot and a little on my toes. And that was pretty much it, right? But I noticed that it is not growing as far down on my calves or whatever as it used to, by an inch or two easily. And I thought, well, maybe it's the socks. But then around that time, when I started going barefoot, and I quit wearing socks completely, and so it just never started growing there still. So my point being that the stuff accumulates in our body. My toes and my toenails and my feet and my, up to my ankles have all kinds of little issues that can look like they're related to toxins, like swelling, discoloration, crustiness, bunions, whatever, swollen knuckles. That's toxins loaded to the max inside the joints and into the skin, and it's preventing the hair from growing where it used to because there's so much of it, and it accumulates down at the lower areas first, right? Because its mass is greater than the mass that's most of the body fluids and parts are, so it's going to settle to the bottom, but it circulates, our body circulates, so it gets everywhere. And then there's also the possibility that the biofield is energetically pushing it out, because we have an aura biofield. It's a fact now. It used to be conjecture, but thanks to Sabrina Wallace, I've seen the actual. Well, she's read I haven't seen it, but she's read it, and I believe it was correct. Reports and things acknowledging the human biofield and the science related to it, and that things are being done at universities to it's been used for a long time. They're hacking people with it, basically. So the biofield's real. So if you have Morgellons and you get the bugs on your skin sensation, it may not be bugs on your skin. It may just be, the lymph. I noticed that where I would have those types of sensations was along where there's a lot of lymph, like the wrists, forearm right there. There's a lot of lymph nodes in this area. And that was quite swollen on me years ago. It's one of the first things I noticed when I really knew it was Morgellons. It's like, this is Morgellons. I've heard of it, was my wrists were swollen right here, and they still do this pulsing thing really fast, like my heart is racing just out of the blue, and then these veins will bulge up like they're kind of doing right now, but they're super soft. It's not like, high pressure. It's like they're really soft and swollen for some reason. I'm still up in the air a little about how that functions, but they're not blood veins. They're lymph veins, meaning that whatever is causing them to get swollen, whatever's giving me a itchy sensation that feels like bugs sometimes, is in my lymph. And what's in your lymph? Well, the toxins that we're breathing constantly every single day that it doesn't rain here in the Pacific Northwest, because Uncle Sam loves us so much that we got to wear our seat belts and get insurance in case we have accidents with each other in our cars, or you get tickets, and spray them with poison all day because we care about them. We're creating jobs in the rapidly expanding hospice care industry, you see. I'm being sarcastic now. Just doing the pulsing. Dum, 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 dum. Now, my heart doesn't normally beat at that rate. It's fairly slow. I'm usually under 70 at rest. When it sizzles, it's getting more of the metals. I can smell the burnt metal fireworks, gunpowder type of smell. Okay, so I guess that's. Do I have anything else to say about that? We're loaded with metals. They're coming out everywhere because we're loaded. We're like a sponge. You ever heard the comparison of your skin being like a sponge? It is. Compared to a nanoparticle, your skin is got more holes than a sponge. It's like a cave system. The nanoparticle can have thousands, probably on a single hair on your arm, have thousands of them. That's why they're turning white and silver. Same thing on hair. Same thing on your face. The patchy areas of where my hair wouldn't grow, that's because the skin and the hair follicles were so inundated with the toxin, the toxic metals, that it's stopping the growth. And they say that your hair turns white because the pigment cells quit working. Yes, over time you just get old and your pigment cells, they get tired and they, oh, dude, I'm so tired. I'm going to have to stop producing the color now. And so the natural state of a human hair follicle, hair, or a cell of their skin is pure white. I mean, same thing with your skin. They say it stops producing pigment, people, to turn white. So being pure white, having pure hair go pure white, have your skin start turning white and ashy, is simply a matter of getting old, and the pigment cell is getting old, so it quit working. And nothing to do with being loaded to the gills continuously with toxic metals, particulates that just happen to be white. That doesn't have anything to do with it. In fact, you've heard of chemtrails. They don't affect anyone in any way at all. There's no doctor anywhere that's going to say that those are harmful in any way, because they're looking out for our health and they would really know, right? So they should be the ones to tell us if there was something bad about them. And of course, not a one in any American Medical Association or on WebMD or anything will, they won't even really mention it, because it's such a not a thing, and nobody is harmed by chemtrails. That's a conspiracy theory, and let's not fall for those things. Okay, I said all I need to say. Until next time, carry on.